What is your NSFW secret that you are proud of?
Experience 1. I had a partner who told some friends when they were talking about intercourse that his midsection is as big as his heart. It was a compliment that warmed my apparently big heart. Not because of my midsection, but because she used my heart as a point of reference. Experience 2. This probably doesn't count, but 20-some years ago, I was having intercourse with a gorgeous woman. While doing our thing, I let out a ridiculously large fart. The next morning, we're off to get breakfast at a restaurant. I mention how embarrassed I am at the fart. She tells me she didn't say anything because she thought it was her that had farted. We had a wonderful relationship for years and are still close friends. Experience 3. Had an instructor from work accidentally send me a nude on Instagram. She meant to send it to her boyfriend at the time. A plus MILF body. That was about 8 years ago. And never told a soul. Except you, degenerate. Experience 4. When my girlfriend and I were first dating, we were in my bed having intercourse. Suddenly, the bed frame buckled under us. I didn't want to stop, so we kept going before more of the frame collapsed. Afterwards, she laughed that it's a badge of honor to be having intercourse so vigorously that you pile drive them through the bed. I just felt bad that it was a cheap, shitty frame, but I do love the sentiment. Experience 5. By no means do I have a huge midsection, so when I saw a urologist for ED medication, I made a joke about not being able to see my long Johnson to insert the needle. By the way, if you have severe ED or don't want to worry about Viagra on a full stomach, Trimix is absolutely your best bet. The nurse then commented,
Trust me, you have way more real estate than the rest of the men that come in here.
I felt like I was on top of the world, but my wife wasn't thrilled when I told her what happened. Experience 6. I've done 2 gigs as a nude male model for bachelorette parties. It was a lot of fun. At the second gig, they specifically wanted me to pose with an erection. I absolutely loved the experience. Edit. My inbox is overwhelmed with people, let's be honest 90% dudes, wanting to see the pictures. I shared it with the first few, but I can't keep direct messaging everybody. There are literally too many of you guys. Experience 7. I got a fertility test to make sure my chemo treatments didn't render me infertile. They didn't. When giving me the results over the phone, the tech couldn't hide how impressed they were by the volume I produced. A professional jizz expert told me I shoot huge loads. Experience 8. In my last job, I had to go to a building for 4 hours every Friday to flush their water systems. The company had moved out but still had a couple of years on its lease, so it was completely empty except for this cutie manning the reception. We got chatting, which turned into flirting, and before long we were at it like rabbits all over the place. She left after about a year and a half, but it was a lot of fun while it lasted. Experience 9. Tens of thousands of young people have seen my long Johnson. Post-college, I worked at another university where they provided my medical care out of their own facilities. My primary care physician was the one who would give the safe intercourse and other adult lectures to incoming freshmen. Part of his lecture was about body piercing, the dangers of not doing it safely, etc. As this was early internet days, there weren't a lot of pictures he could reference during the lecture. When I had my first annual exam and he saw my Prince Albert piercing, he asked if he could photograph it and use it in his lecture. It was an odd request, but I agreed. A few months later, he emailed me with the PowerPoint presentation he used, and sure enough, my midsection was in it. He did this lecture for over 20 years, twice a year, for all incoming students. I like to think I might have helped someone get into piercing safely or even sparked a conversation that went to a place that some young person never expected it to go. Experience 10. I was the president of the student government in college. I had an office that was just a desk behind a cubicle. My girlfriend, the secretary of the student government, liked to give me the Clinton while people were right on the other side of that knot wall. On the one hand, frequent blowjobs were really cool. On the other hand, the thrill of potentially getting caught isn't for me. Experience 11. One time years ago, I was in bed with my girlfriend watching a movie and she made a move, but I wanted to use the bathroom before getting into it. I excuse myself, use the bathroom and come back into my room to see she's already naked waiting on me, so I'm like, oh damn, it's about to go down, I can't just jump out of my clothes. I got to amp this up on my end to build some anticipation. I start to undress slowly, get out of my pants, and start rolling up my belt like she's seen me do 100 times before I set it down. Except this time, I unraveled it like a whip to hit the light switch and her jaw hit the floor. I proceeded to lay down a solid 45 to 55 seconds of acceptable wienering. What I did not tell her was the day before my roommate and I were bored, and we spent like 2 hours in the basement just seeing if we could hit the light switch with our belts because we're simple. Experience 12. I gouged a guy's eye when he tried to SA me. Right thumb in the left eye. Will never ever forget it. From what I heard, he was almost 100% blind in that eye. Saw him a couple of times around from a distance over the next few years, wearing an eye patch. Pretty sure he died not long after. Experience 13. I once drank about 300 milliliters of water directly out of my lab's nanopore water system. This is highly purified and deionized water. In fact, it's about as pure as water can get. Internet opinion is divided over whether or not this is safe, or if it will kill you, and I wanted to see for myself. I can report that it is not pleasant to drink and is probably not safe to drink in large volumes. It tastes horrible, probably because it leaches minerals out of your teeth and mouth tissues literally as you're drinking it, and very shortly after consuming it you will feel a massive need to urinate. Which is probably not a good sign either. Experience 14. I hooked up with a good friend a bunch of years ago, who had recently gotten out of a neglectful, unhappy relationship. We were just doing it as friends, and everything went back to normal the next day. But immediately afterwards, when we were lying there catching our breath, I saw that she had tears in her eyes. I asked if she was all right, and she said yeah, not to worry, she just hadn't been touched or paid attention to properly in such a long time. She'd forgotten it could be like that. That made me feel 10 feet tall. I was even happier when she met the man she wound up marrying, who treats her like a queen. I like to think I helped her realize what she deserved. Experience 15. I worked the ramp for a major airline in the 90s. Nearly every flight has a corpse on it. Yes, you are probably flying with a dead person just beneath your feet. The boxes that transport the traveling dead were always cardboard, shaped like a coffin, with the word head at the top. If you put the head the wrong way, fluids would drain out of orifices on the head, from what they told us. I moved the nomadic dead day after day after day. Off the tugs and up into the belly. There was a head and another. We moved animals a lot, too. But the dead were more fascinating. I began to wonder who they were and where they were going. I talked to a friend who worked with me. He was a ramp worker during Vietnam. He said that, occasionally, a ramp agent would sit the corpse up, so it was seated when the plane landed and spooked the person opening the belly. My curiosity was just crazy. Seeing these ghostly riders come aboard every day. Finally, I asked my coworker what would happen if we looked inside. He climbed into the belly and opened one before I had time to think about it. I didn't pause to think that this could be a murder victim. It could be a drowning. It could be a desegmented soul that had a horribly unfortunate passing. The lid was up. I moved toward it. My heart was thundering. I had seen the family in the casket. But this was in the wild. In an everyday space. I saw the reflecting skin of a plastic sheath over the body. I crept closer and there was the face of an older woman. Somebody's grandma. She was laying there, batteries dry and out of fuel. She looked at peace. She was beyond the world, and I was a mouth-gaping monkey looking at my future. I left the belly and drove home with the radio off. It was so surreal. I never asked about the mysterious people in the belly again. And to note, I only noticed the tail end of the headline on this "A Secret That You Are Proud Of" as I wrote this. This was just an NSFW secret. No pride. I should have stayed curious. I feel bad that I snuck a peek at that quiet lady in her quiet box. Experience 16. I had to go into my office at a hospital kitchen on the weekend to log in and send an email. Wore flip-flops through there. Open-toed and not slip-resistant. Got in and out in about 10 minutes without anyone seeing me. Nobody ever found out. Experience 17. I became the biggest drug distributor at my university, mostly with bulk weed sales. I used to move about 5 to 10 pounds per week, selling to dealers to break it down to their users. I would travel weekly to the nearest large city to reload, then fill a huge suitcase bigger than me, all with vacuum-sealed bags, to return to my college town to chop. Originally, I started because I was a huge stoner and wanted to smoke for free, but kept reinvesting and buying more and more. And got really lucky meeting some important contacts. I treated it like a business and was professional and busy. I never told anyone my real name and had 3 cell phones I would cycle between them, frequently getting fresh SIM cards. I became extremely successful over the 4 years I did it, making a lot of money and spending it all almost as quickly. I used to show lavish parties and pay for everyone, or bring 5 to 6 friends to restaurants and nights out and pay for everything. It was an amazing experience overall, and it's hilarious that weed is now legal in Canada. I feel like a Prohibition-era smuggler. But unfortunately, I can't really share my secret with anyone as I'm no longer part of that life, and it seems like forever ago. Experience 18. I went down on this gal who said not to bother, she never climaxes from oral. Told her I like to eat pussy, so it was for me, not her. Before long, she was thrashing around and grinding into my face as she was climaxing a freak ton. Afterwards, she told me that she had been in a lesbian relationship for a year, but her significant other had never managed to do that for her. Experience 19. Secret to most people in my life, but not everyone. Went on vacation to Japan with some friends. Towards the end of our trip, my friends wanted to hang out at our hostel and play cards and relax for the day. I went to get a massage down the street from where we were staying. I don't speak, read, or understand Japanese, so after my massage, when the attractive lady started putting up numbers on her hands and saying something, I just went with it and realized she was asking if I wanted to pay more money. I did, and it led to me doing the bedroom bogey with 2 gorgeous Japanese women. 21-year-old, I was quite confused, surprised, and very happy. Still, get to hang that over my friends when we mention our Japan trip. Experience 20. A real NSF work that happened at work. I once went out for a run during my lunch break at work and my stomach started gurgling. The problem was that I was running in a rough neighborhood on the outskirts of DC and had nowhere safe to stop and use a bathroom. I miraculously make it back to the gate at my work's compound and had to run another 1/4-1/2 to the building and through another checkpoint, all the while trying not to crap myself. Due to my building's security, I wasn't allowed to have my phone in most of the building, including the gym locker room, so I had to run to my car and drop my phone. I am 10 steps from my car when I cannot make it any further. I am squeezing my cheeks as hard as possible, taking one step at a time when I cannot hold it any longer. I am forced to squat right there in the middle of a covered parking garage and take a massive, horrific diarrhea dump. The first real kicker, I work at an intelligence agency and there are cameras everywhere. Again, it's a covered garage, so no rain is going to wash this away. And it freaking reeks. I just imagine someone coming out to their car at the end of the day and smelling the rot of death that left my body, and they are going to report it, and then security is going to check the cameras to see who the hell died in the parking garage. Okay, so I am now disgusting, but I have to pull my shorts back up and go inside and hope to God I don't see anyone I know before I can get to the locker room. I don't know how the hell any napkins or clothes didn't have to use to clean some of the mess, but never again. I decide to take the quickest path to the locker room instead of the outside, but a longer route. In hindsight, why didn't I just stay outside, which puts me walking through the ground floor, the main hallway. Now for the real kicker, I crap you not, as I am speed walking through trying to be invisible as I smell like literal crap. The freaking Baltimore Orioles mascot was walking through my work and stops me and hugs me and tries to strike up full-on conversation with me. I am dying inside and thinking, why the hell is the Baltimore Orioles mascot visiting an intel agency? I finally manage to escape and make it back to the locker room and throw away all my bottom clothes. To this day, I have never told my husband, but I have told many a lady friend, and we die of laughter at the ridiculousness of it all. It's so embarrassing, but also, it's too funny not to share. Experience 21. Observer/moral support turned participant in a failed world record bukkake attempt. My wife worked in an intercourse club, and we became friends with a couple who were an adult explicit videos videographer/performer couple. It was the early days of our relationship, and we were invited to see what an adult explicit videos shoot was like. 600 people registered to participate, double the record at the time I believe, but unfortunately, it turns out that not many adult explicit videos enthusiasts show up to fulfill a fantasy, so only about 30 quite shy men turned up, and none of them seemed keen to be the first participant. My wife suggested I get things going, so she and I go to a room to prepare. As I get prepared, I open the door to where the shoot is, ready to step and take, I guess give, one for the team. I see a bunch of cameras and solo men trying to self-prepare, and I instantly become unprepared and return to my partner in the room we were in. She insists we try again, and once I get prepared, I squeeze the base of my little chap as hard as possible so it can't hide away, walk on over to my friend who is now a little decorated with other participants, and I add my paint to the mix with a little dribble, a pat on the leg, and a thank you. I then go back to my wife, and we have a good chuckle about it, and when the shoot wrapped, we consoled my friend, as it was not her favorite shoot. Theatrically jerking off to a room of shy naked men wasn't her best experience in the industry. I sometimes misjudge work filter scenarios, and once during a team building 2 truths and a lie game I told this as one of my options. The colleague that went after me said,
I've never eaten tapas / I have one leg shorter than the other / I have a tattoo of Miss Piggy on my back.
Having to explain bukkake to a bunch of colleagues was interesting. I'm proud because it was honestly super scary, and going back out there after the initial embarrassment was a really big challenge.
We hope you enjoyed listening to today's stories. If you want to see more stories, check out these videos or check the links in the description for more videos. And don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. And ring that notification bell.